Om Shanti. First of all, thank you for the invitation. Thank you for being with you. And let's see how it works, this class. And yes, I would like to have a little more interaction. Sometimes in these classes are kind of difficult to have interaction much, especially because of the many languages, etc. But if you can share in the chat box about what do you see about Sanskars, that would be good. If you need a translation, share with the translator, and translator can share in English. I can understand English, Spanish, and Portuguese. So either of the three languages are fine for me. You know what? Sanskars are the important thing now, because we are approaching the last time, the last moments of this confluence age. There is a Murli. The Murli is from June 18th, 69. And in that Murli, Babu was talking about the seed of all sanskars is sown at the confluence age. Without the seed at this time, the tree cannot be created in the future. So that means all the sanskars we are going to live in golden age, all our personality, the way we are there, the way we go for shopping, we go for school, the way we interact with each other there, the way we rule the kingdom, everything is being created here. So here is a very important place because we are generating the future sanskars that we are going to use. Now, what is sanskars then? So, in general, we learn that sanskars are impressions. So, in fact, there is a word in Hindi, which is samsara, which is the wheel of the word, and they use a lot in the Buddhism. And it says that as the samsara, like a wheel. So just imagine a wheel, okay, a car, riding, running, okay? So the car is leaving impressions on the road. Now, if the road is rock, less impressions. If the road is sand, very strong impressions there. And so in this way, the samsara are imprinting on us something. So those are the sanskar. So they are quite similar in terms of words. However, especially with Didi Mohini, she uses sanskars in a different way, very different. I remember many years ago, she used to travel a lot at that time. Now she doesn't travel much. And someone asked her what happens with New York, because she's in charge of the centers there in New York. So what happens with New York when she's out of there? And she was saying that her sanskars remain there. So in this way, more or less, I mean, but the sanskars are there, her sanskars are there. So in this way, everything will still be doing as it has to be done. So sanskars is not only the impression that comes into us. The sanskars are also like the whole setup we create to live in this life. We could say like that. So it's the impressions, of course, but there is some energy there. So in this way, for instance, if you live with other people and in your bedroom, you never allow people with shoes to get into the room, and in your house, people go with shoes into their rooms, so slowly they get used to that idea. So they'll be by your sanskars. So they'll be following your sanskars. And even so you leave, you are not there anymore, the sanskars will remain at least for a while. So that energy, that vibration is there. So to know about sanskars is a little more than just impressions. So let's see a few things Baba has talked about sanskars so we can understand them a little better. For instance, Baba calls sanskars as one of our subtle powers. So you can research the Murlis about the subtle powers, and you'll find that that's the way Baba calls mind, intellect, and sanskars. So sanskars is one of them. And Baba says that if you are your own king, if you are self-sovereign, so you are able to rule over those subtle powers. And the physical powers, Baba sometimes calls the senses. Sometimes he uses an expression of the workers. But the sanskars he calls as a subtle power. So it's subtle. It seems it's invisible, really. You can know the sanskars of a person through the interactions, through the way they behave, and how that those sanskars manifest in life. But still, you don't know the whole truth. Think, for instance, about this life. So in this life, I'm a male, I am almost 60 years old, I'm Brazilian. So all of those things, they are connected to sanskars. I'm Catholic. So there are many things that are related to sanskars. So if I go to Rogelio, who was brought up as a Catholic too, we can relate. But my sanskars of Catholic are different than his sanskars of Catholic, because Brazilian Catholicism is the Portuguese one, is very different than the Spanish one. Oh, very different. Oh my God, you know? So in some aspects, the sanskars are similar, but in other aspects, they are different. So you cannot box someone, you cannot frame someone saying his, her sanskars are like that. All the Turkish people, they are like that. All the Turkish people eat tahini every day. You cannot frame everyone like that, you know? In some aspects, it's true, and I'm sure that most Turkish people, they have their, I don't imagine, I never been to this country, I have been to the airport, and so I imagine they have a little bottle of tahini there somewhere, you know? Like Brazilians, every house you go, there is some coffee there, okay? So it's the sanskars are there, but it's not that Brazilians drink 2 liters of coffee every day, okay? So you cannot frame everyone because sanskars are subtle. So they are present, they are there. And all of those sanskars summed up, they composed what people know as Marcelo, what I try to express to others as Marcelo. That's what I put in my curriculum vitae of Marcelo. These are my sanskars. So it's important to understand that what we normally interact with people, my sanskars are interacting with other people's sanskars. So most of the time is that. Baba tries very hard to call us, to uplift us to another level, so that I'm not related to the other sanskars, related to the soul. And the soul is much, much more. So imagine the sanskars is a huge bag of little balls, several colors. So in this life, we are a small bag in this huge bag. Our sanskars for this life. So for instance, I'm a man, so the sanskars of a woman, and I was a woman, past life or the life before. So Kembai was saying, that we have half lives man, half lives woman. So I was that. But those sanskars, they are merged. They are not useful now. So they are not in that small bag that is my present life. And inside that bag also, there is a very little bag, which is called the cheat, the memory track, or what I am now at this moment. So my sanskars that I used when I was 5 years old, they are not in that cheat anymore. The Sanskars I'm going to use when I'm 80 years old, they are not there anymore. Not yet. They're waiting. So we have lots of Sanskars we are not using. So when Baba talks to us in the Murli, when you have a very wonderful and powerful meditation, you start to experience Sanskars in other lives. You start to merge other Sanskars. And Baba refers to that in some Murlis as a kind of purification. So from Iron Age, I go to Copper Age, Silver Age, and Golden Age. So I first start to emerge the best Sanskars of Iron Age I have, like 300 years ago, 400 years ago, even 1,000 years ago. Those Sanskars are much better than the ones I have as a Lokik person, Iron Age person now. Then little by little, you go to the Copper Age Sanskars. Then you go to the Silver Age Sanskars. And then you go to the Golden Age Sanskars. So when I start to experience this Brahmin life through meditation, even in the interaction with other people, in service, I start to get a taste of Sanskars that don't belong to this life. This is why, even so, I'm a man, I was brought up as a man, so that's forbidden to cook and these kind of things that some of you probably in your culture, you relate to that. Okay, men cannot enter the kitchen in some places. I know I can cook. I'm not a good cook, but I can cook very good Italian food here. Italian food, I'm excellent, no problem. Okay, so because those Sanskars, female Sanskars, they start to emerge in me, myself. And you hear stories of the Yagya, how Dadi Nirmala Shanta, a sister, and Dadi Gulzar's mother, how they used to be the mechanics of the car of Baba. Baba used to have a car and a bus in Karachi, in Pakistan. And these two sisters, they used to go and fix the cars when it was needed. In fact, Dadi Gulzar, Baba's instrument, her mother, they used to the how do you say, the watchwoman, and of the Baba's house, the night guards. Okay, so they used to be the night guards, not brothers. So they emerged lots of male sanskars too. We are from outside of India, many of us, and we have emerged lots of Indian sanskars. I am sure. All of us, we have emerged. Some a few, some more, but all of us, So Baba, through meditations, through yoga, he starts to make us get in touch with older sanskars until we are able to experience the best of our sanskars, the golden aged sanskars, or at least the silver aged sanskars. Some Murlis Baba says, when you reach silver age, he means your physical organs, the workers, are under your control. So that's fine. At least that. So they are more than just impressions. They guide our lives. They shape our lives. They shape our decisions. They shape what we are going to do today. They shape what I'm going to do with my Brahmin life. So many things. Okay? So anyone who wants to share about Sanskars, please put in the chat box, but in English, or at least in Spanish and Portuguese, so I read. If you have questions also, please, or Portuguese or Spanish. Now, there is a very important muli. Well, it's not one muli. Baba talks in several mulis, but not too many, okay? We have to understand that some things Baba doesn't talk much because the public he had, especially during Sakar time, they already knew. So we have two sisters here in Colombia. They created a very good food recipe book you know? And and it's a very good one. And they researched a lot. It was not done just like that. They researched. And the sister want to know about vegetarianism from Baba's point of view. And you know what? Baba doesn't explain about vegetarianism. Okay, he doesn't explain much. He just says you shouldn't offer this and that for the deities. He just gives some like brushes of comprehension. Like for Mama in one muli, Baba was saying that Mama was probably not a vegetarian in another life because one of her memorials, Kali, they offer animals as sacrifice. So very few things he used to talk about in terms of vegetarianism because everyone there knew. So Sanskars is something like that. Everyone knew. So we who don't know that, we don't know the language, we don't relate to that, it's a little more difficult. So that's why mulis they are very important when Baba clarify the importance of the sanskars, subtle power, what it does, etc. So in some mulis, Baba talks about when the soul enters in the body. So normally after 4, 5 months, the soul enters in the body, in the womb of the mother. Then at that point, the sanskars influence the body and shape the body according to the sanskars. So our body, this one, they are they depended on the sanskars of another life. So something I was carrying and I came. So the sanskars are carried from one life to another. So the soul is carrying sanskars all the time. But some sanskars, they have a big influence. Others, not too much. For instance, Baba talks about soldiers. If a soldier dies in the battlefield, so in the next life, they will be again a soldier. He talks about that also in relation to scriptures. So that someone, if they study a lot of scriptures in the next life, they also have that tendency of scriptures. So probably professions that are related to a call, a vocation, they are sanskars that come with us and make us choose the profession we are going to follow. I'm sure that accountants are not so much. So if you are an accountant in this life, you are probably not an accountant in past life. So don't worry about that. But probably with that line of thought, doctors and other professions that are related to a call, to a vocation, those professions they will be, or anything that's very deep, anything that's very deep in the soul. Probably I have been doing that for many lives, not only this life. Okay, is that fine? Now, what's the difference between a karma and a sanskar? Kembai, many years ago, I think all of you know him. He used to say that we really don't have karma in the sense of it's not that the soul leaves the body and carries a backpack with their karma. But what we have is sanskars. And, when Baba was giving murlis, I don't know how many of you have attended to Baptada's murlis there in Madua. I know Maria had, and probably some of you here also, you have been there, so you met Baba there. So Baba mentioned that. And after a while, the murlis stopped. And the technique Baba used the last few years was giving a homework to us. In this way, he kept us busy. And one of the last homeworks, if not the last one, was to burn every day one sanskar. He said very clearly, one sanskar we should burn. How to burn a sanskar? So it's Baba talks about that in other mulis. You have to go into the seed stage, just so the point of light. That can only happen in Amritivela also. And when you do that, one sanskar is burnt. So he didn't say a karma. It was interesting that I found interesting that the homework didn't mention karma, but sanskar. Because one karmic account implies many different sanskars. So if I have to settle a karmic account, I have to have a set of sanskars that will lead me to that specific moment in which I'm going to settle that karmic account. So if I go into seed stage, I can burn one sanskar. How many sanskars do you have? Millions, maybe? Think about that. How many sanskars? Even when you eat food next time, just check how many sanskars are implied in eat food. Use of utensils, fork or spoon, the taste, things you like, things you dislike, the warmth. I like food which is very hot. I like food cold or not so hot. Spicy, I see Hindi there, Gautami Ben. She likes lots of chili there in the food. I don't. I like. I like, but my body doesn't like. That's you know. So some people like chili food, some people don't. Rogelio is there, so he likes Peruvian food. Okay. So how many sanskars are involved in just one meal? Just one meal. So when you go into seed stage, you burn one sanskar. And Natambai, Tamprakash Bai, he has a very nice way to explain how that works. He uses the example of mechanic, car mechanic. So if your car is damaged, has some problem, you take to a mechanic to fix the car. But the mechanics normally, they don't allow you to tell them what they have to do. If you try to tell them what you have to do, they say, shut up, I am the expert here, I will do it. And he'll choose which part of the car he has to fix. So in the same way, Baba is the expert on the soul. Maybe I would love to burn this sanskar, this specific sanskar that looks like broccoli. I would love to burn that. But Baba has another idea. And whatever I'm saying here, I'm sharing from seniors and Murlis, okay? But some things come from my own journey. So I'll put the brackets here, or I'll say it's a little speculation here. But I think those sanskars we burn in Amritivela, they are sanskars we are not using in this life. At least they are not part of our cheat. And probably they are not part of the bag of sanskars we have for this life. They are probably a sanskar I used like 1,000 years ago when I was taking care of horses somewhere. So that sanskar I'm burning. So probably that's why many Brahmins, they don't experience change, at least not the change they would love to. First, because very few Brahmins go into the seed stage. Oh yes, they can see a point of light. Especially for us in the West, it's very easy to imagine a point of light. But that doesn't mean you have a seed stage. You are in the seed stage. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is we are burning sanskars from other lives, not these. So you can't see the change so much. So don't lose hope. Keep on burning, keep on burning, keep on burning. Because one sanskar, when it's burned, it will affect the others. Somehow it will affect them. And you are getting purified. And something more outside. In reality, the souls, they don't burn the sanskar really. It's more like deactivate the sanskars. So in such a way, they don't want to come anymore in this cycle, but they will come next cycle again. The sanskars will be there. One thing I was talking with a very senior brother in Madhuban, how do we create sanskars? And I really don't remember his response. I don't remember. Why? Because 2 or 3 days later, Bap Dada came in Dadi Gurjar, and he said how to create the sanskars. I don't know if this is the Murli. Maybe it is, because I think he told about that more than once. But I read this piece of the Murli. It's a Murli from January the 9th, 1996. There is an influence on the mind and the intellect cooperates with it. Then, if mind and intellect move in one direction, that becomes a sanskar. So sanskar is the little baby of mind and intellect. For instance, right now you are in the class, right? So your mind is probably here. So you are hearing the class. Hopefully you are listening to the class. You are seeing me or not. Maybe you are cooking there, Those in Latin America, they are probably cooking. And so they have the class there in the kitchen somewhere, So the mind is probably occupied by the class. But the sanskars can be in another thing. If they are cooking, the intellect is occupied by other things. So maybe the intellect is occupied, did I put salt or not in the food? Did I call that person or not? What should I do tonight? So my mind goes one side and the intellect goes to the side. You are sitting in the Murli, same thing happens. You are listening to what Baba's saying, but you are concerned about another Brahmin who is sitting there. Oh, look at them, what's going on? They don't look well. So in that moment, your intellect is not connected to Baba. So you are not creating sanskars of the Murlis. The Murlis are, in fact, a nursery or a hospital, So we should leave the Murli full of babies, new sanskars. But they don't happen because my intellect goes there, my mind goes there. But when both got together, a sanskar emerges. Sanskar is created. So if now I'm creating the sanskars of Golden Age, just think about how many times my mind and intellect have to get together during the Murli, during yoga, during service, during dharma experiences like interact with other Brahmins, going to Madhuban, etc. How much both should get together so that my whole sanskars, everything that I'm going to do from Madhuban until the end of Golden Age and also Silver Age, maybe Copper Age, they will be created now, right now, at this moment. Just think about that. And I would like to give you some examples on the influence of the sanskars in our lives. First of all, a personal example. So I'm Brazilian. So I remember I came to London once and I was walking on the street in London. It was late in the night when I felt a smell, and it was beans. And then I recognized it was beans because they were Brazilian beans. The unique way that Brazilians cook their beans. I found very strange because I'm in London. Then came a group of people in London, and they were all speaking Brazilian Portuguese. So that area near Baba's house was, for some time, Brazilian. So that's why the smell of beans were there. And yesterday or the day before, I was walking on the streets here in Bogota. I felt the same smell. So as soon as that comes, the sanskars emerge. You know, the sanskars of being a Brazilian emerge. It's automatic. And I'll tell you, if next time you go to Madhuban, watch when they serve in Madhuban brown beans with rice. And you look at the faces of the Brazilian family. They look like children. And they will fill the plate like this, big plate. Because that's the food we eat from Monday to Friday, every single day in our lives. So the sanskars, they are attached to every single little aspect of our iron-aged life. So whenever you eat the same food you used to eat before Gyan, whenever you use a clothes that's similar to a clothes that you used to wear before Gyan, every time you use some words that you used to speak before Gyan, those sanskars emerge. It's the influence of the sanskars. Another example, I'm a business consultant and logically, and one of my specialties is to play games in companies. I'm very good with games, especially outdoor games or even indoor games. I play with people and people like. I'm good. Baba gave me that specialty, no doubt. And I was in service, and I don't remember if it was in Argentina or Mexico. And my part there was to do a workshop using games. So when I was about to do the workshop, I realized, wait, I'm using my sanskars of business consultant. Okay, that's a specialty Baba gave me. So I reminded myself of that. So my whole perspective, my whole outlook changed because I didn't see that as a game I was doing. I saw as a Brahmin, as a way of giving the souls some experience or make the intellect a little soft so that they could get Baba's concepts easier. And it was a very powerful moment. I really acted as a business consultant, but using the Brahmin sanskars, not the Lokik sanskars. And it was very, very important for me. So you can try. Whenever you are cooking, talking to other people, check which sanskars you are using now. Are you using the sanskars of the Iron Age, of your culture, your people, your family, or gender, or you are using the sanskars Baba gave you? The last example was when I came to Gyan, one thing we used to say a lot in Brazil was that the souls in Iron Age, their intellect does not work. So the souls in Iron Age, they are dragged by their minds. So the mind is the boss and not the intellect, because the intellect is very weak. That's what we used to say. But things have changed. Now we are, well, I know we are in Tamo Pradhan stage, but should be a Tamo Pradhan stage. There should be some more, a different word for that, for the time we are living now. And I realized something is different now. People are not using, not even their minds. And I use an example of dogs. I think in many countries you have dog walkers and dogs walking the streets, etc. So I saw a man and a dog. I was walking on the street, and the dog was walking in front of me. And there was a park, so the dog was following the path. But his owner went to another place, somewhere else. And I realized both were connected. Now they look like the same, owner and dog, they have some features. I don't know. There's something similar. So I could say, oh, this dog belonged to that man. Even so, the dog was loose and the man was in the other side. And yes, definitely. When the man was about to reach the other street, he realized the dog was not near him. So he had to come back and go and grab the dog and take the dog to wherever the dog has to go. That was the moment I realized now people are led by sanskars. So they are not even thinking about, they are not deciding anything. Sanskars emerge and they do. Reaction and they do. So we have to be very careful because that's the energy now. So don't let your dogs, the sanskars, take you on a ride. And the last thing, because now they say there should be a time for questions, is, and these are things I feel, Baba never talked about that, okay? But things I have churned about. First of all, sanskars, they are elements that they compose habits, even virtues and vices, okay? So that's why between a virtue, especially in the Lokik word, and a vice, sometimes there are some common things there, because the sanskars, it's like a vice or a virtue is like 10 sanskars or 15 sanskars, and the habit is made by 20 sanskars, okay? So that's why it's very hard to break a habit, because there are too many sanskars to work there. It's easier to create a new habit than break one. The other thing is that sanskars are not that easy to be changed or destroyed. Man, you need lots of. And I give you the example of Sister Genti. Sister Genti, among our seniors, she's still one of the healthy ones. She's very healthy still. And I remember once she got sick. Don't know, some of you maybe remember. So she couldn't go up in the mountain, in Mount Abu. So she had to stay in Shantiban. Nowadays, everyone stays in Shantiban. All the seniors are there. But that time, not. That time, few seniors were there, but Daddy Yankee, everyone, the big ones of the West, they were all up in the mountain. And so Genti did, she was sharing for us that she felt bad she couldn't go up, but because of health, she had to stay down. And then she shared a realization. She said, I have one sanskar, and I was sure it was destroyed. And that sanskar came up with the sickness. So this is just a warning. So don't say, oh, that sanskar is over. Ah, I'm free. No. That doesn't work like that, In my personal experience, when you really get rid of sanskars, you won't remember it anymore. You won't feel it anymore. You won't be able to invoke that anymore. And I had one example in my life. I used to get work by getting worried. So I get worried, I get job. So I looked for job. So it was the trigger. And one day that disappeared. And I realized next time I need money, I need to get work, I couldn't get worried. And still I can't get worried. I can remember, but not the feeling. I don't even know the feeling of getting work to get job. And that was amazing. And that's probably what happens when you really overcome a sanskar. Maybe you didn't destroy it, but you are able to weaken a lot. And so the sanskar won't emerge anymore. So that means you won't even remember the taste of that sanskar, how it works in you, how that works with others. So that's the moment I realize we can overcome the sanskars, but we have to be careful and we have to work and work and work and create a new Sanskars. Okay, I think that's enough, Marie. I don't know if anyone has questions or no questions there in the chat box.
Yes, I don't see any questions. Whatever you said and share was really very useful and powerful, and thank you for that. I was really impressed by what you said, that the sanskars that are burned are the old sanskars from previous lives, and we don't understand it, and it's really very important to burn the sanskars, as you said, in Amrit Vela or whenever possible. And also what you share about the intellect and the mind that go in different ways. That was, we have to check ourselves where our intellect and mind is going. I don't see any questions. And if you want, you can share more about, I think, about karma. You said karma, Baba doesn't say any things about karma, but he says about the sanskars that are burned. But how can we understand that, well, this is not the karma of the other person, but this is the sanskar of the other person. So how we deal with the other people's sanskars? Because for ourselves, yes, we know we will sit down, we will be with Baba, we'll be in the sit stage, and we can do the work if we want, because some of us maybe don't want to do it. But what happens when we are with other souls? There is a question there, so you can you can translate it. What can we do in relationships? How can we the sanskars of the other? How can we deal with them, or we should not deal with them? Just pay attention to ourselves and to our sanskars. So if you want to say a few things about it, or you can answer this question, which I don't understand.
Okay. Well, first of all, what you say is important. So, if you think the Sanskars are like dogs, okay? So, you know, when two people they are taking their dogs to walk and two people cross, sometimes the dog they fight among themselves. So, what do the owners do? They restrain the Sanskars. So, to deal with other people's sanskars you don't like, or sanskars that annoy you, or sanskars that are harming you, many times they are harming you, you need lots of power. So you have to go very deep in yoga, and you have to get that power in you, okay? And you cannot think much about the other one because you cannot control the other one's sanskars. Whatever they are, they are, and whatever effort they have, they are doing, they are doing. Maybe that soul is better than me. Maybe that's the only defect the other soul has, and I have too many other defects, you know. So, so I cannot judge. But what I can do is develop many sanskars, many powers in the soul. So if I have the power of control, if I have the power of discernment, tolerance, molding myself. So all these powers, they will help me to deal with the other person's sanskars. And of course, nowadays, we are ending the journey a little bit. So if you can avoid the other person's sanskars, if you really don't need to get into that, don't get into that. Don't say the key word that triggered the sanskar. Don't do the key thing that triggers that sanskar. Just be quiet and be with power. About the question in Portuguese, there is a need of staying in the seed stage to finish sanskars. But how? We are yogis, but 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 it's not working. Is there any alternative formula? Someone asked now at Tambai. We had a class for Latin America here last Thursday past week. last week. And someone asked him, if we can't do Amritivela, can you have the same effect in another moment? Unfortunately, there is no alternative, and unfortunately, there is no other way. We need to finish those sanskars. But of course, look, we are Brahmins, so we have lots of knowledge. So many sanskars I haven't destroyed, but I know how to manage them because Baba has taught me how to manage them. But manage them, that means they are alive, they are there, but I can manage them. The second thing is with yoga, at least you can focus your mind on Baba more than the situation. You can focus your intellect more on Baba. So in this way, you wake up other sanskars. And so those sanskars don't emerge. You know, it's a trick. For instance, if someone is doing a diet and they are hungry, they are very much hungry. So one of the tricks they do is drinking water, lots of water. So they put lemon, they put things, and they drink that. So that gives a sense of I'm eating something, even though I'm not eating. So sometimes if I am able to recognize the sanskars that are not good for me, at least I can use other sanskars. I can give other sanskars more priority. And so that will be much better. But still the sanskars are alive there. And what Jayant Didi said is important. One day they will emerge. One day all the brakes you have put in front of you, they will get loose. There is a story that Gulzar used to tell, and I know that story happened to a sister also from one country in Latin America. Similar, very similar story. That one person, a Brahmin, someone from the center, she was very sick. She was about to leave the body, but she wanted to eat something from the street. And we Brahmins, we don't eat things from the street. In fact, I think nobody should eat anything from the street. It's horrible. That oil they use, they're not clean. But anyway, so she wants to eat that thing. The sister I know from Latin America, she was also about to leave the body, and she want to eat something made by other people. Brahmins shouldn't eat, And of course, you have to give that, So even so, she was very surrendered, very paka, very Brahmin. Those sanskars were still there. They were still there. And at the last moment, she was unable to control, and those sanskars emerged. So it's important to see how to have a better Amritvela, how to really reach the seed stage. So study more, read more. And the question in Spanish, can you go deep in relation to virtues, vices, and sanskars? Now that's a little speculation from my part, even the part I was saying about probably the old sanskars, they are going to be burned, not sanskars we are using now. Maybe I'm wrong, but Baba he didn't clarify. But I think that's probably what's happening. And that's why people are not feeling the change much. In relation to virtues, vices, and sanskars, for instance, love and attachment. Love is a virtue, attachment is a vice. But especially in Latin America, oh my God, the crisscross between them are so much, It's so difficult. Even, Rogelio is a father there, so he probably has a similar experience. Mothers, but even myself, who is a Kumar, it's not easy to say what I'm doing now. Is it an attachment or is it love? What is it? Why? Because some sanskars are present in both. Or let's say one sanskar or two or three, they are present in love and they are present also in attachment. Remember that what we are developing now is divine virtues. It's a long way. It's totally different than a human virtue. And Baba used another expression, which Ishwari Gun, no? So godly virtues, that sometimes in Spanish and Portuguese they translate in the same way, but it's virtues from God. So you have the human virtues. So those human virtues, some sanskars are similar to vices. That's why people in Kali Yuga, they are what they are. So a very loving person, they can be very attached to. A very peaceful person, they can be lazy. So there are virtues, but along with the virtues, there are lots of bad things there because the sanskars are the same. When you develop the virtue as a godly virtue, as virtue from God, so then it's different. Love will be so pure. There won't be any attachment. Didi Mohini was sharing this week how Daddy Janki, she used to arrive at the place and she said, I'm here, so I belong to here. So she didn't think about anywhere else, just that place. But as soon as she left, it was as if the place didn't exist and she never went there at all. So she was very loving, very powerful loving, but she was totally detached. So that's godly virtue, which will become a divine virtue in golden age. So it will take some time, or at the end of confluence age. Okay. So there are some sanskars that are similar. So that's why sometimes we don't grow so much, because we are using sanskars from Iron Age, which are not bad. They don't smell bad. They taste good. It's like Coke, Coca-Cola. Who doesn't like Coca-Cola? I mean, everybody likes Coca-Cola. It's wonderful, but it's very bad for health. It's not good for your health. So there are some sanskars which are like Coca-Cola. Great, they are wonderful, but they are bad for the soul's health. So we have to be careful. So that's why you have to recreate sanskars during the murli, during meditation, even during service, even interacting with especially senior Brahmins or in the family, etc. And another question in Spanish here. Sorry about that. And Portuguese and Spanish, yeah, both are Spanish. Families, are they ruled by sanskars? Yes. Interaction with families, interaction with your body are ruled by sanskars. I see with many Brahmins, they get old and they start to do what their mother used to do. So they are ruled by those sanskars there. They don't listen to what Baba is saying, I remember when Dadi Kumarka, she didn't want to take pills, to take medicine, And Baba said, you have to take it. So Baba used a very good trick. He said, because the pills are many different colors, so he said, think they are not pills. Think they are fruit. Like, fruit, they have different colors. So they are fruit. They are the fruit of Iron Age. So you have to eat fruit to be healthy, right? So you have to take. So we have to be careful about that, because you go to work, you go to take a bus, you go to buy something in the shop, where you are using your iron-aged sanskars. So this is why you have to be so conscious. You have to remember Baba. So in this way, your mind and intellect, they get together and they create different sanskars. And Dadi Kumarka was the master on that. Janti Didi used to say, that was decades ago, that she was the only one. She was a very good administrator. So she used to say, she's the only one who can discuss about the price of sugar, which is money, the price of sugar with good vibrations. Because she was able to be in that subconscious and be that consciousness of being an image of Baba, an instrument of God. So in this way, even so she was doing something very lockic, she was doing a high stage. And we have finished the time. I think I have just 1 minute to settle our karmic accounts. We rely on divine virtues. The karmic account belongs to the old sanskars. So you have to emerge our virtues. Virtues help to settle karma, of course. If to settle karma and change sanskars a little bit. So if I'm settling a karma because I'm sick, but I am a very joyful person. So people, they will want to help me. They will be very helpful, you know. People, they will feel joy by my side. You know, nobody likes to take care of someone who is sick and who is crying all the time. Oh yeah, oh no, you know. So they prefer people who have very good virtues. So that helps, of course, that helps. The thing is, if the virtue is human, it has also mixed some bad sanskars there from Iron Age. So with Baba's knowledge, Baba Yoga, you can change the virtue into a godly virtue, a virtue from God. And with that virtue, you create a different experience. You know, the main difference I see between human virtues and godly virtues and divine virtues is that a human virtue like patience. When someone is patient, he is normally surrounded by people who is angry with them because they are too patient, you know, and people who think they are lazy, not patient. But when you have a godly virtue, a virtue from God of patience, you inspire others to be patient. And when you have your divine virtue, you don't need to inspire others. As soon as they come in touch with you, they are patient. That's what we experienced from Dadi Janki. Dadi Janki, wherever she went, her presence did the service. So we felt like it was like a virus, good virus, you know. All of her virtues were coming to you. Of course, when you left Dadi, the virtues stay there, you know, but at least for that moment, you felt like you can do anything.